I had all these preconceived ideas about what ranching was. And I had a lot of preconceived ideas too about who ranchers were. And so meeting David, the whole first year was just a lot of me realizing like, wow, I got a lot of things wrong.
It's the atypical wolf that kills livestock. Wolves can sometimes be a challenge for an individual producer, an individual rancher. And when those problems arise, we have all kinds of tools at the ready to resolve conflicts that do arise, and many, many tools in place to prevent conflicts from ever arising in the first place.
I grew up in Boulder, and I think on the Front Range, in the more urban landscapes, there's a lot of people who want to conserve the land, and somehow in that conversation, ranchers have become the enemy to conservation. So I think I held some of that when I came here. I've been on the ranch 8 years. David's been on the ranch his whole life, so he's 50. And his family's been here since 1872. They have a generational sense of like being on the same ground for so long, which is pretty neat. I have a very short history with eating beef. I didn't eat meat when I met David, and I started eating our cows before I was pregnant with Ryder. I do think that we have a responsibility, if we're gonna eat animals, that we treat them with respect and dignity. What has been so powerful for me is to realize that many ranchers care deeply about the land, they care deeply about their animals, and their story is sort of untold in terms of how much ranchers care about conserving resources, not only for the next human generation, but also for animals. I think in terms of reintroducing wolves, there's a lot of fear about what would happen. It's so important that ranchers are part of the conversation. And I think it's so important for maybe all sides to try and put down their sort of stories that they've told about each other, so that the rancher can maybe let go a little bit of the story they've told themselves about the environmentalist or the vegetarian or the conservationist, and others can put down their stories about who they think ranchers are. Ranchers and wildlife biologists are sort of coming together to look at strategies of how to deter wolves from predation of their cattle. And that they're kind of simple solutions sometimes. So like the hiring of range riders that just track wolves and let them know where the wolves are. And the moving of animal carcasses on the ranch. So these solutions that are coming from the community, sort of from the ground up. And it doesn't mean it's gonna be perfect, but it's certainly possible. We just have to get beyond some of our fears and talk to each other.